Welcome to Bookish Bingo, episode 2. If you are seeing this video and not my first video in this video series, I am doing Bookish Bingo where I am reading until I get a bingo. I filled this board up with 24 different prompts and then I made these cards to match them. So I will randomly pick a card whenever I need to start another book and then pick a book that correlates to this prompt. When I'm done reading the book, I will put this prompt on the bingo board wherever it fits and then we are just reading until I get a bingo. I've done one episode of this so far and I read 3 books last time. If everything goes in my favor, I only need 3 more books, but I know that's probably not going to happen. So we are just going to see how many books it takes to get me to get a bingo on this board. Last episode, I read 3 books, but I picked my next prompt in that episode for the book that I'm starting this episode off with. So that matches the outfit that I'm currently wearing. If you watched that video, you know that I was wearing a navy blue hoodie when I picked this prompt, so I picked Heavenly Bodies by Amani Uriu. I don't really know how to pronounce her last name. I'm so sorry if I'm saying that wrong. This actually just came out traditionally published, and I have the indie version because I wanted to read this book a while ago, and I never picked it up, so I am very happy to get to this finally. I have high hopes for this one. This is a fantasy romance. I'm hoping that the fantasy and the romance is a good mix because I love romance in my books. I love romance in fantasy, but it has to be done a certain way for me to really enjoy them. I'm gonna read the back of this because I don't really know what it was about. In a world ruled by the stars, cruel and merciless gods that watch over the world, Alara has been cursed by fate. A prophecy that promises she will fall for a star and it will kill them both. But when one descends to wreak havoc on Alara's kingdom, she is forced to flee into the arms of her enemy in the neighboring country. As she learns more about her own magic and the depth of the star's deceit, she finds herself also learning more about the country that she takes refuge in, and the enemy prince forced to train her into a weapon. Something dark brews within her, a power made of night and shadow that begs to be broken free. And this is her debut novel, so she's blending romance, intrigue, and mythology together, all against the backdrop of a fantasy world you will never want to leave. I feel like I've heard that this is very astrology focused, which if you look at the cover, that's definitely what it's giving. I have a 5-star prediction for this one. I've been doing good so far this year. I've had 3 5 stars. Maybe this will be my 4th. We'll see. I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna get into this, and then I will come back with my first update, let you know how it's going, and then we'll continue our little bingo game. I have updates. I started Heavenly Bodies on a Thursday and is now Monday. I am almost halfway through, literally just under halfway through. I'm taking my time with this. I'm not loving it too much. So basically we have our main character and there is a prophecy, which I always love when there's a prophecy because it's fun to find out how they go around the prophecy, because it's always something that is going to end badly, but there's that underlying concept to where they can go around it. So I'm curious to find out what that is. I don't know if we're going to get that in this book because it is going to be a trilogy, I think. But this world is called Celestia. It's split up into all these different, almost like astrological provinces, technically. The stars are their gods, and all these provinces are ruled by one of these stars. Our main character is from Asteria. In the beginning of the book, she goes to Helios, I want to say. I'm a little iffy on the names just because there are quite a bit and I haven't fully learned them yet because we haven't gotten to know all of the stars. But basically she is in this other province. She makes a deal with that star for certain things. I'm not going to say too much because I want you to find out along the way as you're reading this. Honestly, that's pretty much it. Obviously there's feuds going on with different stars in different provinces, and she is just going through trying to figure out how her prophecy is going to come to be. My main thought is that there wasn't too much set up. Like, we didn't get a ton of world building. Obviously it's there. We have the world, the map, the stars, aka their gods, and it is interesting, but I do feel like there could have been more of a setup. It did jump right into romance, I feel like, just because this is a fantasy romance and it's heavily focused on romance. If you like a lot of romance in your fantasy, you will probably love this book. I'm someone, as I read more, I like to have a little bit of romance and a lot of world building and a fantasy plot for the majority of the book. I did buy this book over a year ago when I didn't really know that about myself yet, so that's why when I first bought this I had the 5-star prediction, and now I definitely feel like it's going to be a lower rating for me, all just because of my personal preferences. But I do feel like this book is for a lot of people, and I know that just reading it. It definitely reminds you of the fantasy romance in ACOTAR or Fourth Wing, like those popular series that everybody loves. Those are just the vibes it's giving off. And the romance itself, I do feel as though it happened a little too fast. I don't think we were given a lot of times to understand that there was chemistry between our characters, but there are some moments that hit really hard in the romance aspect that I loved. I'm iffy with the romance. I am very excited to see where it goes. I think that I know who it's between, but I also feel like it could be somebody else. I don't know. The prophecy doesn't line up with the romance that's happening right now. There's another side character that I'm really interested in getting to know. I do like the side character so far. I think we're going to get a little bit of found family in this, which I love. Those are pretty much my thoughts right now. We'll see how the rest goes. And then I did want to pick out my next prompt just because I am halfway through this now and I just want to know what I'm reading next. Is this my 4th book? We're still very far in the beginning. It's gonna take us a while, so we're gonna pick our next prompt. And this is just my favorite thing in the world. I love this. I don't really remember the prompts that I had on these because I haven't looked at my board. I have it turned around next to me because I don't like looking where the prompts are on the board. I don't want to know how close I am to getting a bingo until I finish the book and put the prompt on there. I always go for the middle. We'll go with one of these. I'm feeling this one right here. Okay. Is it upside down? Probably. Start a new series. That's perfect for me because I have started so many this month. I don't know if you can see you can't really see my stack of the books that I've read this month, but I've started 1, 2, and then Heavenly Bodies is the 3rd series I've started just this month. I do have a prompt in here that's continuous series. That would have been nice, but unfortunately we are not getting that yet. So we're gonna start a new series with the next book, and I'm gonna go to my Kindle for this just because I know that I have some books that I really want to read on here. I have Empire the Vampire on here, and that is, I'm not gonna read that one because I do have to finish the Nevernight Chronicles by J. Kristoff. I have one book left in that trilogy, so I want to finish that before I jump into another series by him. I do have Vicious by V.E. Schwab, which I've heard great things about. I think it's a duology. Gideon the Ninth is a book that I have heard nothing but good things about, and I'm so stoked to get to that. So that's definitely a top pick for me. The Sword of Kaigen's a standalone. The 5th season, don't know if that's a standalone or not, so I'm not going to pick that one. So my only other option is Jade City, and that is a series that was actually on my 2024 TBR, and I never got to it. I'm either going to pick between Gideon the Ninth or Jade City, and I think, God, I really want to read Gideon the Ninth just to see what the hype is about, but I feel like I should go with Jade City just because it's been on like my mental TBR longer, so I think we're going to do that. I'm going to start Jade City. This is called the Green Bone Saga, and then once I finish Heavenly Bodies and give you guys my final updates on that, I'll explain what Jade City is about. But yeah, good pick. I have a feeling I'm gonna really like that book too, in that trilogy. I am gonna try my best to read a lot of Heavenly Bodies today just because I do want to get through this. Every time I hit the halfway point in a book, I read it way faster than the first half. The first half can take me a week to get through, and then the last half will take me 2 to 3 days. I don't know. I don't know what it is about the last half of the book that seems to go by so fast. Okay, let's talk Heavenly Bodies. I finished this book yesterday, and then I did start my next book, but Heavenly Bodies, my star rating in my head kept going down the more that I read this book. I did end up giving it a 2.5 stars. It wasn't, for me, it's not what I want in a book. If I had read this years ago when I had first gotten it, I think I would have liked it a lot more. Your reading taste changes all the time, the more books you read. I'm not surprised that I didn't like it as much as I thought I would, and that's okay. But I do think this has a really interesting concept with all the astrological, the stars known as their gods. I love the prophecy aspect, but in a lot of cases when it comes to romantasy, the fantasy portion of the book is never developed well at all, and I hate that. And I know that it's probably hard. I feel like romantasy should be focused 50-50, but it ends up not being that way. It ends up being focused more on the romance than fantasy at all. There's a lot of moments where I wanted to know more about the magic. We didn't really get anything. Our main character is known to maybe have a lot of magical power, but we never got a lot on that. She was supposed to be training the whole time, and she was training, but it was happening a lot in the background. I just prefer books where you get that action and you get that kind of like hands-on in a sense, because you're reading it, you're not actually hands-on, but you can picture the training in your head. So there were a lot of fantasy moments, battle moments that weren't written, but you knew they happened. I would have liked to have read about them, but yes, this was definitely focused on romance a lot more. Sorry, I got interrupted. My cat was just making the weirdest sound and I had to go see what he was doing. But I did like the romance in this, in the way that it went. There were moments where I didn't feel a lot of chemistry, but then there were also moments where it was a good romance, and I really liked the things that they were saying to each other and how they felt about each other. And then I also enjoyed the found family in here. There was a small found family, and there was a group of 3 females that formed a friendship with each other that I really loved as well. But there was just so much in this that I needed more from. The prophecy didn't end up getting closure in the ending. I liked it. I liked how that went a lot. I did think the ending was good, but there were just so many moments that should have been intense that weren't. That's pretty much all I can say about this, is that I felt like it lacked for my personal taste. If this is something that you would be interested in, I highly recommend it. I really do. It does feel more of an ACOTAR type fantasy book where you get that focus on the romance. So if you like that, you would probably like this a lot. It was a debut novel. There were a lot of editing errors, but it's fine. There was one moment where our main character had woken up and she was like, oh, I haven't had a nightmare in months, but then literally 6 chapters ago she had a nightmare, and then she just kept having nightmares the rest of the book because that's what she experiences. So that part confuses me, and I hate when that happens in books, when I get to a point where I'm questioning something that happens, because I get mad at myself because I feel like I didn't pay attention, or I just feel dumb, and I don't know, it just makes me upset with myself, and I know that I'm probably not the issue, but I do just feel like I'm missing something, and I need somebody else to tell me if I'm correct or if I'm wrong. But other than that, if you like romance focused books, I would pick this up, honestly. But if you like your fantasy and a well-developed fantasy and a lot of world building, then I wouldn't recommend this to you. So up to you. It was okay. 2.5. Now we are moving on to starting a new series. Kind of did want to start a new series though, because I've been wanting to start this series for a while now. So I started Jade City by Fonda Lee. I still didn't really look up the synopsis of this book, but from what I know in this world is that if you have a lot of jade, you are rich. It's money, it's worth a lot. Let me actually look up the synopsis so I can give you kind of a decent summary on this. This is set in a city, I believe it's an urban fantasy, and I haven't read an urban fantasy in a while, so I'm really excited for this. I've heard great things about it. It says Jade City is a gripping Godfather-esque saga of intergenerational blood feuds, vicious politics, magic, and kung fu. I feel like we're just gonna get a lot of intense action going on with people. We have the Call family. They're one of the 2 crime syndicates that control the island of Kakan, and it's the only place in the world that produces the rare magical jade. And the jade grants those with the right training superhuman abilities. It seems very mafia-esque, which will be interesting too, because I don't know if I've read a fantasy that is kind of mafia focused. That'll be fun. I did read the first chapter last night, and I am liking it so far. I like the writing already and the descriptions, and I already know from the first chapter it's probably gonna get intense, because we started off with our 2 characters. I don't know if we have a focused main character yet, but there were 2 brothers who work in this restaurant, and there was a guy in there. He had jade earrings in. One of them slipped a little something in his drink, gave it to him, and then he ended up in the bathroom passing out, and then the 2 brothers go in there and they're stealing his earrings. The dude ends up waking up and chaos breaks out. They gotta run away. We'll see how this goes. I'll come back and update. I don't know if I should update more than like the halfway point in the end. I guess just if I have more to talk about, I will come back and update you guys. But I'm gonna read for a little bit right now. I'm probably gonna read a few chapters and then start working on my stuff. I'm coming at you with another update already. I am only 32% of the way into Jade City, but I just want to give an update before the weekend comes along, because I don't film on the weekends because I'm not home alone. I just want to give my update now so I have something. I may update tomorrow too. It's Thursday right now, but I'm 32% of the way in. I'm liking it a lot so far. Everything's gone. Everything just left my mind. I'm literally blanking so bad right now. Anyway, okay, whatever. So I know I said yesterday after I read the first chapter that I was thinking the main characters were going to be the 2 guys that were stealing or attempting to steal. That's not the case, which is so obvious if I read the synopsis. Well, I did read the synopsis, but I didn't remember that it was focusing on family instead. So that was just setting up the story. Our main characters are this family that are a part of the Greenbone clan. They're kind of essentially running it, and it's very interesting because they have their differences and they have their own rivalries, I guess you could say. I feel like they don't see eye to eye, and that could cause a lot of problems in the future. The story so far is just a lot of rivalry, people who are going to want this jade that shouldn't even have it. It's going to be very political. And I've heard that towards the end of this book, or maybe halfway through, and then the next 2, it's just so good. The setup of this one I know is a little slow from what I've heard, which I guess you could say that. There's a lot of names and people being mentioned that is hard to remember. Just like with any fantasy book that is dropping a lot of names and world building at the beginning, it takes a while to get comfortable with that and to understand what roles these characters play. I would say the amount of characters is my only issue with this, and it's not even an issue, it's just a thing where you have to get used to it as you read a book. It'll come along the further you get into it. That's the only thing that I'm gonna speak on right now. I plan on finishing this hopefully tomorrow. It's January 30th, so if I finish this tomorrow, it'll be the last day of the month, which will be cool because I can count this as a January read. I am going to pick out my next prompt which it's early on, but I do just want to do it now since the weekend is coming up and I want to be prepared. Let me grab my cards and we shall pick. Actually, let me grab my board. I need to do a board update because I want to say, okay, yeah, so we still have to read at least 3 books. I'm not going to look to where this start a series prompt is for Jade City because I don't want to know how close I'm going to be to a bingo after that. So right now, we need to read at least 3 more books, whether that's including Jade City or not. I still have, how many cards? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we still have 19 different prompts in here. I'm kind of hoping that I get like a little free library pick or something. I don't know why. That's what I'm feeling. It would be cool if I have continuous series. I was also going to mention that I downloaded the other 2 books of the Greenbone Saga on my Kindle. They were both on Kindle Unlimited, so I know I'm going to continue this series. Just figured I would download them to be prepared, but I don't want to jump right into those right after, obviously. But I do have a prompt in here that is continuous series. If I get that, I think I want to continue the Zodiac Academy series. We'll just pull from the middle like I always do. There's a dark one poking out right here. I'm going to pick this one. I'll show you guys first. I don't know if this is upside down or not. Highest rated on TBR. Oh shoot, okay. I have a feeling this might be a long book and that scares me. I don't know where my phone is or my computer. I'm gonna show you guys all the books on my TBR right now and then I will figure it out. Okay, I'll be right back. BRB. See, here's the thing. Empire of the Vampire. I don't want to start that yet because I'm still reading the Nevernight Chronicles. Bro, Goodreads literally is not... Oh my god. What was this one? 4.34? Okay, that's the highest right now. Bro, Goodreads sucks. Hey Goodreads, I don't like you, but I also don't like any other book tracking app to ever exist. In the corner of the back, I have Sports Car by Tate McRae stuck in my head. I've listened to it like 10 times today. I love Tate McRae, just saying. Tate McRae's like the pop star, you know? Guys, this is making me nervous because Empire of the Vampire is the highest right now and I really don't want it to be. I can't read that anyway though because I don't want to start that series while in the middle of another one of his series, you know? I shouldn't have even included that anyway, but I do have a feeling one of these might be the highest anyway, which will be so exciting because to be honest, I really want to read one of those. Okay, it's not looking good. I know Yellowface isn't rated highly because some people don't like that book, so we're gonna move right past that. Skip it. Oh my god. Literally, if The Secret History is not rated high, I'm gonna cry. 4.17. Oh my god. So the highest is technically Empire of the Vampire. Wait, whoa. Hold on. What's Zodiac book 3? I'm getting that in the mail today, so I am going to include it. But what's... Oh, the Reckoning? Is that what's about to happen in this book? Yes. Please be high. 4.34. Shut up. Okay, wait, what was Empire of the Vampire? Was that the same? 4.34. Oh, guys, they're tied. They're tied. Things just work out for me, and I'm so very thankful for that. Zodiac Academy book 3, The Reckoning, has 198,000 ratings. Empire of the Vampire only has 60,000, so technically, if we're doing a little statistics, some stats, The Reckoning is higher. And that is coming in the mail today. And I really want to read that book. So that's gonna be the one that's highest rated on my TBR. I am just having a good old time right now because now I get to continue the Zodiac Academy series. Also, if you don't know, Zodiac Academy, the old covers, like the indie published covers, are gonna go out of print. So if you have some of the old covers and you need to finish the series, I'm warning you now, you need to buy them because I knew that the first book came out in a different cover, but I didn't think anything of it. And then I read the second one in November of last year maybe, and I was just putting off book 3 because I didn't have it physically and I didn't feel like buying it right now. But now the covers are changing, so I'm in a rush, and it's happening very fast too because I think they're all coming out like month after month. So book 3, February 18th is the last day, and then if you don't get it by then, you're gonna have to buy it from somebody else, and they're probably gonna be raising the prices. Just to warn you, if you want to read Zodiac Academy and you want the old covers, the new covers do look cool, but I like the old covers for some reason. Not for some reason. I know why I like them, because they look cool. So yeah, now I'm gonna have to buy the rest of that series before the other ones come out, and that's stressing me out because I don't want to spend money on those books. I was gonna wait a while. So that's coming in the mail today. I promise you, I'm not just saying that because I want to read that book and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go order it right now. It's coming in a couple hours. I have just completed Jade City. It was good. It was really good. I think if I hadn't read as much as I did, like if I was pushing it off a little more or just reading small slices here and there, I would have gotten bored. But since I read it in a few days, I had a good time with it. It's definitely heavily focused on rivalry and clans and war, and that's pretty much all it is. You're just going through the up and comings of this war and why things are going the way they're going and finding out the reasoning why a war is about to break out. There's two kind of side characters in here that I really enjoyed. They're not necessarily the best, but I would really like to see where their storyline goes. I know that we're going to get a lot more, well, I hope that we get a lot more of one of them in the next book or the next two books. I think we will, just based off how this ended and the moments that he was brought up in this book. And then the other one, I'm very surprised at what happened with them. I didn't expect it at all, and that's what surprised me towards the end of the book. This book was laid out very well. The pacing was great. The writing was great. When I read the synopsis, it said that Jade gives you superpowers, but that's not the case. I mean, I wasn't expecting people to like fly or anything, but I was expecting it to be more than it was. It's basically just heightened abilities, like certain abilities that you have that do get heightened when you have this Jade. And obviously only certain people do have Jade. Yeah, the story is definitely something that focuses on war and the aspects of war and people in power who just want to build on their power and they are losing their humanity, which is always important to read because it's what we deal with in the real world. I'm surprised that, I can't say, but an event that happened in this one, I thought it was going to happen honestly like midway through the second book, but it happened towards the end of this one. I think when that happens, I'm always wondering now what the big events are going to be in the next books. We'll see. I'm excited to continue. I do honestly want to continue right now, but I can't because we have a separate prompt to read. I really like how it's playing out. Story-wise, obviously the things that are happening are not good, but you know, for a book, it's good. And I'm liking how it's going. I think I'm going to give it a 4.25. Is that our fifth book now? We're going to move on to our sixth book, but I'm going to go put this prompt onto the bingo board, see where we are, and then we'll get into book number 6. Okay, this may not be the best angle in the world, but I don't know where else to put you. The lighting in the house is very bad today because it's raining and gloomy outside. This is crooked. Here's our bingo board. The closest we are is 3 away, but I have this prompt, start a new series, which was for Jade City. Where is this going to be? Where is this going to be? Start a new series. Right here. Okay, so we got something on this side of the board, which is fun. This row now has 2. We're still at least 3 away from a bingo. We're not getting any closer. But hey, it's good, because I like to read. Let me grab book number 6. I've been having fun with this series. It's definitely more of like a guilty pleasure series for me, I think. If you don't know the concept of Zodiac, it's 2 twin sisters. They are heirs to a throne, but they don't know it yet. They live in the real world, and then a professor shows up and takes them to this world in the Zodiac Academy, and there they study. They're going to try to figure out their magic. They literally know nothing about the magic world. They had no idea that they were heirs to a throne. It's giving like fantasy academic setting that's off the rails, unhinged. This one I feel like we're finally picking up pace though. The last 2 books have been a little slow. They were just introductions. Continue, and I will be back with my first update. I have not updated on The Reckoning yet. I need to talk about it. I'm 46% of the way through. I'm reading on my Kindle, and I'm having a good old time. These books in this series have been so fun so far, very easily bingeable, but they are so cringy and unserious. And I say cringy because like they have Facebook, which is basically Facebook, and you get all the posts from these students or the characters, and then people comment on it and they leave cringy hashtags. There's hashtags on every single post and comment, but it's just, I don't know, these books are fun and I can't explain it. They're very much guilty pleasure books after I read intense fantasy books, or if I just need something to pass the time away. They're very fast to get through. I think I only have about 4 to 4.5 hours left of this book, and I'm only halfway through. Yes, they are long. They get longer as the series goes on, but very easy reads, very fast, and you don't want to put them down. I will say The Reckoning so far is very character driven. The Reckoning is basically this trial or game type thing. I would say more trial. I don't know if they specifically call it a trial in the book. They've talked about it since book 1, and I've been very excited for this book to get to this trial, this reckoning thing. So basically The Reckoning is where these students in their first year show off their magic skills or whatever, and they find out if they can stay at Zodiac Academy or not. So our 2 twins are first years at this school, and they're gonna have to figure out if they can stay in Zodiac. Right now, like, the first half of the book has been the week before the reckoning, which is called Hell Week. It feels very much like a hazing situation or an initiation type thing. I am a little sad that we're not getting plot necessarily. Hell Week is going on, and they're supposed to be doing trials for whatever element that they have magic for. So there's air, earth, fire, and water, and that's supposed to take days, like, separately throughout this week before the reckoning, and we haven't really gotten anything on that at all. It's just been character interactions. So I'm very much hoping that the last half of this book is a lot on the reckoning and we do get a lot of plot, because I'm excited for it, and that's what I've been waiting for in the series so far. I think I'm just gonna go home and read the rest of this, maybe. I don't know if I'll finish it tonight, but I want to get very close, and then I'll come back with my last update, and then this video will probably be over because this is my third book, I think. I feel like I've been filming this one for a long time, but I don't think I have. I don't even think it's been 2 weeks so far. I finished The Reckoning, book 3 in the Zodiac Academy series, and like always, I had fun. I had a very enjoyable time with this book. This series is just full of a bunch of cringy... Please don't break anything. No, I don't think you can fit up there, Oliver. Here, come on. Get it. Okay, what was I saying? The writing is not nearly the best at all, but I just have the best time, and I don't want to put these books down. So this one, obviously, we were focusing on The Reckoning, which I hyped up way too much in my head. I thought this was going to be some extreme event with like major high stakes or whatever, and it wasn't at all. I think it took place in like 1 page maybe, and that was it. I was expecting chapters. If you can hear my cat sneezing, I'm so sorry, but yeah, I was expecting a lot more, and it very much was not anywhere near what I was thinking it would be. So I was a little let down by that. And also the trial portion, like, I feel like the pacing of everything else, like the character-driven stuff and the character interactions in this book, the pace was formed with that, but then once we got to the trials before the reckoning and the reckoning itself, it was like, blink and it's over. I'm just gonna fall at a 3 stars for this, just because it definitely wasn't my favorite so far in the series. I enjoyed the first 2 a lot more. It's also funny because this is a fantasy book with a strong romance plotline, and normally I always care about the fantasy more, but in this series so far, I just want to know who Tori and Darcy end up with. I think I know. I have my hints, which is kind of like obvious. It's been hinting at it from the first book, so I'm hoping that that's true, because I very much would appreciate that, and I would like that to be the end game. But I also feel like anything could happen, because I've heard this series gets crazy as it goes on. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to just read through this and find out more about the world. There's also a character in here that is up to no good, and we don't really know what they're planning yet. With that, it could get really intense, because then all these people in this world and all these fae are in danger. We'll see where it goes, but 3 stars, gonna fall in the middle. That is going to be the last book for episode 2 of Bookish Bingo. Now when it's complete, we're gonna grab our bingo board. I do need a piece of tape, so let me go grab that so I can stick my prompt on here. What did we just read? Highest rated on my TBR was The Reckoning. Slap that on there, and let's see where this is. Highest, what color is this? Green? Right over yonder. That didn't really do us anything. Got something in that row, and then this row, 1 more. So I still need to read at least 3 books. Well, we're gonna get a whole nother full episode of Bookish Bingo. I will read 3 more books in the next episode. This is my progress, where we're getting somewhere, at least, kind of. At least we have prompts that are all around the board now. We're gonna dwindle down. We're getting somewhere. That is episode 2. That is gonna complete this portion of Bookish Bingo. If you are curious to see how long it takes me to get a bingo, what other books I have to read, what other prompts I'm gonna get, feel free to subscribe so you can see all of my videos. I will see you in my next video, whatever that may be. I hope you have a great day or a great night wherever you are, and I will see you later. Bye.